Hi, this is Pallavi Verma, and in my previous video I have shown you how we can write a code for aggregation or a Hazer relation. So in this video I will be covering one of the type of polymorphism, which is method overloading. So let's start. I have my package here. Inside this package I will write one class, let's say method overloading, and I will include main method also. Now I will create one more class here. Let's say class my poly class. Inside this class we will implement method overloading. So what method overloading concept says, we can have the same name of the method for other methods also, and we need to specify what kind of parameter we need to pass and their return types. So let's say first I'll take for void return type, so it's public void maybe poly method. Now for this method I'll be passing two parameters, let's say string name and string city. Now what I'll do is I'll just log the statement name city. Now since we need to implement this method overloading, so what we'll do, I will create few more methods with the same name, which is poly method. So this time I'll be keeping the return type as integer. So it's public int poly method, and I'm gonna pass some parameter. Let's say int val1, int val2. Since the return type is integer, which means we need to return some value. So I'm returning the addition of these two, which is val1, val2. Now again I'm gonna create one more method with the same name, which is poly method. Now and this will return some string. So it's public, return type is a string, and poly method, and I'm gonna pass the parameter as a string, which is, let's say, subject. Since the return type is a string, which means we need to return some string. So return subject. Now I will cover one more case. If you see the first method, we have return type void and we have number of parameters are 2. So I'll copy the same structure for this. Now if we see the first case, we have string data type. Now what I'll use string and integer. So it's string subject and int marks, and I'll this out. Let's say printing total So what I'll do, I'll first set the subject, so which is subject. Here I'm gonna do some concatenation. So subject plus, now it's marks. So I did some concatenation here. So as we are implementing this method overloading, so I try to cover most of the cases where we have the same return type and same number of parameters, and we have different kind of return type and the same number of parameter. We have different return type and different number of parameters. So what we need to do now, we need to create the object of this myPoly class. Then I will trace how this JVM will invoke the intended method. So let's say the name of the object is poly. Now if I try to access this poly object, we will be able to see all these 4 methods. These will not treated as one method, these will be considered as 4 methods. So let's see. If you see, there are 4 different methods. Why? Because their number of parameters are different and their return types are also different. So I'll start from this. I'll set the value later, but I start taking all the method. So third method, and the fourth one. Now what I'll do is, it is asking only for one parameter. So what JVM will do, how JVM will invoke the intended method. What it's saying is, you need subject kind of value and there should be only one parameter. So it will go inside this poly method and it will check, do we have any method which is having only one parameter. So it will check, yes, there is one and having the string type. So it will invoke this particular thing. So what I'll do is, I will set the value. The subject is, maybe I will call maths. Since it is returning the value, which means we need some variable where we can store the incoming value. So what I'll do, I will take one string kind of variable and store, sorry, not here, here. I took one string kind of variable and took the value inside it. Now we need to print this value. So it's str. So when we invoke this poly method, we should be able to see maths on our console. Now coming to this poly method, it is expecting 2 values. So first it will see how many methods are there for this poly method with the 2 parameter. So in the 2 parameter, it is expecting integer type of data. So it will check where we have 2 parameters method. It has 2 parameters, but the data type is string or an integer. So it is string, but we need integer. So again it will check for this and here it will get it. Yeah, there are 2 parameter and both are integer. And when comes to this poly method, here is one is string and one is integer. So that's why it will not invoke this one and this one, but this one. So I'm gonna give some integer value. Let's say 21 and 1. So if you see, this is accepting. What if I try to give only string? If I try to give only string, so this particular line will start invoking this method instead of this method. Okay, let's try with that also. So in a string what we have, suppose it's Pallavi, and I will say maybe Mumbai. I'll say Mumbai. So if you see, it is not at all throwing any error here. It is completely accepting these 2 parameters. So this way we can also do. So now if we see, since the return type is void and we are not returning anything, so there is no need for any extra variable. When we are returning something, only then we need the extra variable to hold the value. So what we'll do, we'll directly sys out it. or maybe it is already printing inside because we are not performing any action there, we are just simply printing. So anyway, it will go inside and print this. Now when comes to the sub and marks, for the sub and marks, obviously it will invoke this one on the basis of their return type, because one is a string and another is integer. And if we give integer, then in that case it will invoke this one, and if we give string and integer, then it will give this one. So I'm gonna pick this one, so string and integer. So its string is, let's say, science, and integer value maybe 92, and this one is not at all returning anything, which means we need not to take any extra variable to hold something. So here I already did some concatenation, so I'm not gonna sys out this. When comes to this name and city, that I already did, name and city, which means which one is left? This one is left. So what I'll do is I'll give maybe 21 and 5. Now once we execute this program, the object will be created. Object will go with the one parameter, so it will execute this one. Now it will go to two parameter having the same kind of data type, which is a string, which means it is gonna invoke first method. When comes to science and 92, it will go to this one because one data type is a string and another one is integer. When comes to this 21 and 5, so it is gonna invoke this one because both are integers. So this is how the JVM invokes your intended method. So let's run the code. So what is happening? First we invoked this one, which is one parameter. So I am returning some subject, and what I passed here, maths. So I am logging this maths. So we have str maths. When comes to the second method, we are passing Pallavi and Mumbai. So it is invoking this, and we have two log statements. So it is printing these two logs. When comes to this poly method, which is science and 92, and it is concatenating like science and 92. But why it is not printing poly 21? Why? Because we need to return the data. We need to return the data, but we didn't take any extra variable where we can keep the resultant. So what we need to do in this case, we need to do integer, maybe total, and we need to sys out this total. So this part I wanted to show you. When we are returning some value, it is necessary to have some variable where we can keep or store our resultant. So that's why here also I took this str and here I took total. Now I will run it again. This time it will print the total. So I hope you like this video, and we'll connect in our next video. Thank you.